Today we're going to talk about the Carl Jungian perspective on insecurity and negative self-talk. I was reading an article on some mainstream psych publication about the epidemic of insecurity today. It is true. We're all comparing ourselves to someone else, right? We're not as thin as this person. We're not as smart as this person. We don't have the kind of job this person has or the kind of money this person has. We don't have the kind of lifestyle this person has, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you know. So they describe it as an epidemic. This negative self-talk is the inner voice that is always putting us down. You can't do that. You know, you're not good enough. I do it all the time to myself. It happens to me fairly often. I look at someone else's YouTube channel. I've mentioned this woman before. Her first name's Wendy. And she's been on, I don't know, not less than a year. And she has like 33, 34 videos. And like she has almost 13,000 subscribers. She just did it. She does a video like once a month, maybe twice a month the most, once or twice a month. And her last video she did yesterday, she got like almost 2,000 views on it. Yeah. And one of her videos, she got 500,000 views. Yeah. And you know what that video was? It was about, she said, I'm 54 and I have no friends. I'm 58 and I have no friends. I don't get like 500,000 views because of it. So I say to myself, you know, I'm not good enough, or, you know, obviously I'm doing something wrong. She's getting 500,000 views, and what am I getting? You know, hardly anything. I only have 3,000 subscribers after 4 years. 4 years of doing this. 4. She hasn't been on it 1 year, not 1 year, and she's got almost 13,000. And I post every single day. Can you see how I feel so insecure? She posts at most once or twice a month. At most! I post 7 days a week. I don't even take a day off. Well, sometimes I do, but for the majority of the time, I post every day. There are some times when I've taken days off, when I've written a book, because I've devoted those days solely to getting another book published on Amazon, or if I've been on vacation. But it's very rare. It's very rare if you look at my YouTube channel to see that I've taken any great length of time off. Okay, in describing the reasons behind this, they basically say it comes from being around negative or insecure people when you are young. There we go again, all about our childhood. The treatment, they say, is mainly finding an activity you love. This is what I was just saying yesterday. And are good at, and getting appreciation from others about who you truly are. Just like I mentioned my friend Cher, how, you know, she's doing paintings since the epidemic, and she's really good at it. And now she shows her paintings on her YouTube. And that's how you can build, you know, security and self-confidence. Because if you have that passion about what you're doing, and you're getting praise from it from your peers, and people are admiring it, that builds you up, right? That builds you up as a person. Now, this sounds generally on target, but simplistic. So how would you come at this from Carl Jung perspective? Is this negative self-talk? Is it autonomous complex, or is it a negative archetype? Or more of an unintegrated shadow? Remember we talked about the shadow, about all those bad and negative parts of ourselves that we don't like? Could you use active imagination and engage with negative voice? Has anyone been successful in dealing with this sort of thing using a Carl Jung perspective? Or is there a certain amount of this sort of negative feeling just something that most people have to live with. Or maybe if you really work hard at things for years and years and years, eventually this sort of insecurity just kind of gradually burns off. Well, first of all, you got to get away from negative people. My parents were very, very negative people. They did not boost me up my self-confidence at all. In fact, they told me I couldn't do things. I shouldn't do things. I shouldn't work. I shouldn't drive. I can't, So I learned to believe this, because if you're raised in an environment with parents who tell you, you can't do that, you can't do this. And in my generation, it was very common. In fact, one of my friends said her father told her, you're not going to college. You go to secretarial school and you become a secretary. Imagine your father telling you what you're going to do with your life when you're an adult. Don't go to college. Go to secretarial school and become a secretary. Well, if she wanted to do that, that would be great. But she didn't. And she didn't listen to her father. She went to college. She got at least a bachelor's. She might have got a master's degree. I'm not sure. But she at least got her bachelor's. And she's a special education teacher. That's what she is. Because that's what she wanted to do. But, see, if you grow up, or if you grow up around that, number one. Number two, if you choose when you're an adult to have people like boyfriends or girlfriends, other people, relations in your life who do the same thing as your parents do and tell you, you can't do that. You can't do this. Because you're so used to, that's what you were raised in. So, you pick those kind of people for friends or for relations, boyfriend, girl, romantic relations. That's the one thing you need to get away from. You need to get away from that negativity. Okay? When you can't choose your parents, but when you're an adult, you can choose who you interact with, who you associate with, and what relationships you have in your life, including your parents. So if you have negative parents who always put you down, you don't have to have a relationship with them. Not if it's harmful and they're only, they're bringing you down. If you're an adult, once you hit 18, you're an adult, you get to choose who you want in your life. Okay? Unless you're living at home and then you're relying on your parents, right? If you're living at home and in their house, you'd have to move out, right? But when you're an adult and you're on your own, you choose the kind of people you want. And I would only choose people in my life that build me up. Not tell me I can't do something or I'm no good at that or what they think I should do. Like, for instance, all right, I had this friend. I really wouldn't call her a friend. We were friendly. This is a big difference because she didn't know that much about me at all. In fact, I didn't tell her that much. I was just like some image in her mind that she wanted to have as a best friend. And we used to, like, I'd take her out for her birthday and she would take me out for my birthday, and it would always be Bertucci's. And I had this job in Upscale Mall, Atrium Mall, as a security guard. And I left that job and I started writing. That's when I started really writing. It was like 2012, 13, like that. I started writing and I started submitting my poems and to magazines and to like Green Mountain Art. They have these cards with poetry in them. So I submitted all my poems for that. And one time when we were going out for lunch, I forget whose birthday it was. I brought these poems that I had written and to show her because that was my work. And she looked at them and she said, why don't you go back to being a security guard at the mall? It's like, that's not what I wanted to do. In fact, I never wanted to be a security guard. I wanted to work at that mall because my husband worked at that mall, and I had lunch with my husband once a week, and I really liked all the people in that mall. I felt like they were family. Everyone knew me. Hey, Sandy, how you doing? And so I felt like, gee, this is a cool place, you know? Imagine going somewhere like the Cheers bar. You want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Well, this mall that's how I felt going to this mall. It's not like I wanted to be a security guard. I just found something I could do there. I just said, I like being here. I like the people here. You know, I feel like I belong here. And so, gee, maybe if I get a job here doing something, then, you know, it'll be fun. That's all it was. What I really wanted to do with my life to pursue is to be a writer. And that's what I saw. And when I was showing her my poetry, it was kind of like a slap in the face for her to say, why don't you go back to being a security guard? Don't you think? I mean, imagine yourself as an artist, right? And you've left your job, as whatever your job was, to pursue your art. And you're showing your friend your art. And your friend says, oh, why don't you go back to your other job? Isn't that, you know, why would someone say that, you know? Obviously because I think I'm no good at writing, you know? Like, maybe you should just stick with your other job. Kind of like my friend's father, you know, telling her, you're not going to college. You go to secretarial school. You're going to be a secretary. You see what I'm saying? The same kind of thing. Needless to say, we're not friends anymore. Because she didn't accept me for who I am. She wanted to fit me into her mold. She liked the image that she thought I was, but you know, that wasn't like a real friendship. She didn't like me, or for what my passions were, or for what I wanted to do. She just, you know, somehow liked this image of who she, you know, dreamed me up or fantasized me to be. A lot of people do that. They might fantasize their children, their friends, their romantic partners into something that they're not, you know, and they're having a relationship based on some image, you know, that's that they conjured up, not the real person, of course. She would just probably. I remember one time when I'm using her because she's a good example. One time I went to lunch with her, and I ordered a glass of wine because it was my 50th birthday and she was taking me out to lunch. This was at another restaurant too. This was at the Carib. Anyone here of the Carib in West Roxbury? Yeah. And the waitress said, you know, she didn't even know I drank. I was drinking heavy at that point. Not just wine. I was drinking vodka and everything. This woman really didn't know me. Okay, like I said, we were friendly. We weren't friends, you know. More like acquaintances. We were acquaintances. She was like in the neighborhood. She lived like 5 minutes from my house, you know. So we were more like friendly acquaintances, and we weren't really friends, you know, because she didn't know me at all. So the waitress said, "Oh, it's your birthday. Why don't you should order a glass of wine?" And I said, "Oh, all right." And the woman her eyes were bugging out. You know those dolls or whatever those. What are those play things where the eyes bug out? Do you know what I'm saying is probably it's not something current. Maybe they might be on springs too, and the eyes come out like this. Yeah, she almost died of shock because I ordered one glass of white wine with lunch. Just one. So that's how much she didn't know me, you know. And she always used to say, "Oh, we're just two old Victorian women." That's what she said. She called me an old Victorian woman. You know, both of us, you know, she put us, two old-fashioned Victorian women. Okay, it was time to end that. She was having a relationship with someone else, a friendship with someone else, and it wasn't me. But see, being around people like that, that's the key thing, you know? You gotta get away from people like that, all right? You gotta be around people who build you up. Um, you know, it's not always easy, but you can't stay in relationships like that. And you need to pursue things that you feel you're good at. If I keep doing something that I'm not good at, I'm going to really feel down on myself, you know? Like, for instance, if I try to do something, I don't know what it is. Let's say I get a friend and she's a great tennis player. And she goes, oh, come on, let's play tennis. And because we're friends, you know, this is just an example. This isn't true. I said, okay, you know, you want to play tennis? You know, I really don't know how to play tennis. I'll teach you how to play tennis. So I'm playing tennis with her, and she's like, you know, she's like a pro next to me. I can't do it. I can't even hit the ball over the net or something. I'm going to feel stupid, and I'm going to feel insecure because we're doing something that she's good at, but not something that I'm good at, and not necessarily something I want to get good at, right? I mean, it's one thing if I say, you know what, I really want to learn tennis. You know, I'd love to. And oh yeah, you want to teach me? You're really good at it. Oh, cool. You know, in that case, that's all right. But if I'm going along with her because you know, well, that's what she likes to do, and she, you know, I'm her friend, and you know, and I'm really not feeling good about myself doing it because she's upstaging me all the time because she loves tennis. You know, she took tennis lessons as a kid. Da 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 da. You see what I'm saying? You've got to be around people who build you up and do things that you think you're good at. You know, you don't want someone upstaging you. You're not going to feel good like that. You know, if I take an art class and you know, I don't know, because my friend's taking an art class and she's a great painter and I'm sitting next to her and I'm saying, wow, that's great. But, you know, look at mine. You can't even tell what I painted. Is that bad? That's not going to build me up, you know. If I keep doing that, I'm not saying if you have a passion for something, say I have a passion to be a painter and I'm really shitty at it, you know, but I really want to do it, then go ahead, you know, pursue that. But I don't think it helps you to be around other people who upstage you. You see what I'm saying? I think that's very bad for your confidence. That it's better to be around people that they might be a little better than you, but not like, you know, like using that example about that, you know, that Wendy person with the YouTube less than a year who has like over 13,000 subscribers. And yesterday she did a video and it has 1,800 views, like almost 2,000 views. I'm sure, you know, she has one video of hers at 52,000 views. Another video of hers that has 500,000, 500 something. It's like, so I couldn't see being friends with her because, you know, I feel like she upstages me, you know. But here's the thing: I don't want to. If I was friends with someone, we both started out like the same, and you know, she happens to do better than me. Yeah, I wouldn't not be friends with her because of it. That's my friend Holly. If she was insanely jealous of a friend, she would stop being friends with them and block them. I'm not saying that. Like, if you're already good friends with someone, all right, your friendship is established, you're good friends, and she's doing better than you should just be grateful. You should be happy for her. You shouldn't be, you know, comparing yourself to her. She's your good friend, you know. She'll try to help you if she's your good friend, right? She'll try to promote you and help you. But not in that circumstance, okay? So I'm not trying to tell you dump your friends that are doing better than you because they're upstaging you. I'm not trying to say that at all. I'm just trying to say that you've got to be around other people that, you know, that build you up and who you feel on par with. Because, how do I put it? If I'm around, if all my friends, let's say I'm like I was almost 200 pounds, okay? And I had friends like, you know, I did. back then, have friends that were thinner than me. And I didn't feel good about myself. Even worse, because, all the guys were looking at my friend, because at that time, my friend lost a lot of weight. One of my friends, Maria, we went to the mall, and she lost a lot of weight. And I was going through shit. I had a miscarriage. I don't know. I was fat, okay? Not chubby, fat. And she was so much thinner than me. And the guys were all, I could tell, they were all looking at her, and, trying to talk to her. And, like, they just, I wasn't even there. I was like air, So it didn't make me feel good hanging out with her, because at that time, I was going through a lot of depression and a lot of, hormones with trying to get pregnant and a miscarriage. And I was really fat. And seeing how other guys were around her, it wasn't a good close friendship anyway. We would drifted apart. We weren't, nothing. I don't think, if you have a tight friendship with someone, I don't think anything is going to, not, is going to come and knock the wind out of those sails if you have a good, strong bond with someone, Anyway, I've gotten way off topic here. But find something you're passionate about. Surround yourself, with the right kind of people who will build you up. Build your skills. Do things that make you feel confident and good about yourself. And and stop this self-negative sabotage, the self-negative talk. And don't be around other people who sabotage you with their negative talk. Like saying, why don't you go back to being a security guard, Really? Really? I'll never be a security guard again. Nothing against security guards now. It's just not my thing, I'm an artist. That's what I am. All right. Till next time. Take care.